Is biochemistry the bulk? I was thinking, is biochemistry where the bulk of my cardiology self-experimentation is housed, 2017 to 2026? I'm Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, and today is Wednesday, 5 August 2026 AD, and I'm thinking through, like, I do cardiology self-experimentation of a non-surgical, in that sense, non-intrusive nature, and I do a bunch of, it's I broadly past I do a lot of experimental design and execution, and it kind of broadly focuses on diet and exercise and kind of how different things can impact my heart system. So cardiology being the study of the human heart and corresponding blood flow system. And so a couple of things I really focus in on are blood pressure and blood glucose. And for what I do, I was like thinking through, so I've published previously, first authored high energy density physics for quantum mechanical simulations of condensed matter physics at pressures and temperatures that might be relevant for like planetary interiors. I've published second author and as well as an undergraduate thesis, so I published second author and bulletin of volcanology in relation to volcanic eruptions and doing like petrography and density measurements and that kind of thing. And then I did an undergraduate thesis on that, and then I did a second author in contributions to mineralogy and petrology, where I performed laboratory experiments in a vertical gas mixing furnace, and I grew crystals and made rocks, and then cut them into thin sections, did some like image analysis, like morphology work on the crystals, and then we did some chemistry on those crystals as well. And so natural materials relevant for volcanic igneous systems, so volcanic eruptions, and when the rock that comes out, materials that come out, are beneath the surface of the earth. And so I was like, so that's my background. And I was like, for each of those, so for the condensed matter physics stuff, I've focused on carbon and oxygen. And then there was geochemistry, though I did more of a physics focus for the bulletin of volcanology stuff. And then it was, physics, a lot of materials science, and some chemistry for the crystal growing. And I was like, for my own background and what I've been doing, so it's physiology broadly, and the category is cardiology. However, within cardiology, there's a whole bunch of different forms of like experimentation and self-experimentation, and kind of like what it can take. And I'm not sticking myself with a catheter, in the heart. So I'm kind of going, for what I've been doing, it's a lot of diet and exercise and really simple balance. And I'm like, there might be some really complex, or I strip it down, make it simplified, abstract mathematics to describe what I do some days. But in like thinking through a return to publishing, I was like, well, so I do diet and exercise, so like food, liquids, and then burning it off. And I was like, at its most simple level, I am a biological unit, a human being. So there's the bio, and I do consumption and then like exhaustion of the consumption. So that's chemistry in a very basic sense. And so while the blood flow itself may be more physics, I'm like biochemistry for 2017 to 2016, and kind of not really a change on the horizon. That's my experiment design. So for my cardiology kind of is why I'm filming this, 5 August 2026. There's not really a change in sight. It's kind of the indefinite for my own stuff, my self-experimentation. So I'd say the bulk of it, yes. There might be very little that falls outside of biochemistry currently, and for this time period. It might take a fair amount of, not that I don't have ideas and I don't act on stuff, but for bulk, I would say bulk of what I do is properly descriptive. So there we go. I'm not looking, so thinking of like returning to publishing, like, you know, like there's a peer-reviewed journal, biochemistry, and I'm like, you know, like something like targeting something like that with like, what have I done that I think is this? Do I get the categorization correct? Like, you're going for something like that and be like, I'm aspiring to have a self-impact, you know, kind of like John Belchier, you know, back in the early 1700s was like his work with like red dye and animals and stuff. And I'm like, it'd be really cool if I could have a self-impact like that. And like that, but like that might be rather high coming straight out of the gate. Like, but I've already, you know, published before, so like returning, but like straight out of the gate to returning. And the last one of those was published in 2020, so over 5.00 years ago, you know, straight out of the gate after over 5.00 year consecutive year and breaking publishing in peer-reviewed journal. There's a bit of just a basic, my research, did I categorize it correctly, and can I have a self-impact like the impact John Belchier had on me? How do I make my stuff cool? His stuff was so cool. I, you know, so something like that. So there we go.